My business partner, Jeannie, started her freelance marketing business back in 2007. In today's video, we're going to talk about what a typical day looks like for her. And we're going to talk about what it looked like when she first started her business, as her business took off, and now that she's actually managing a team. So you can get an idea of what to expect your days to look like. Make sure to stay till the end of this video, and we're going to talk to you about some of the most profitable services you can offer. If you want to learn more about freelancing, social media marketing, make sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified each week when we post new videos. Hi, my name is Kirsten Graham, and we are going to jump onto my computer so Jeannie and I can talk with you about what her typical day looks like as a freelance marketer. Okay, so here we are with Jeannie, and I'm so excited because she's going to get to share with you what her days are like from when she started her business back in 2007. We're going to talk about what it was like as she got busier with her business and what her days look like now. So we're going to give you a great overview of what you can expect your business to look like at different stages. Now, we'll warn you, we are not going to show Jeannie getting out of bed or brushing her teeth. We're just going to jump to the meat of this and kind of tell you what a day really looks like and what you can expect from your business. So Jeannie, let's talk about, you started your business, I think, in 2007, and you had a newborn and a 2-year-old and decided to leave corporate, right?
Yep.
People thought you were crazy. You are a little crazy.
It is a little crazy, yes.
That's what I love about it. So let's talk about that. So when you first left, you had a few freelancing clients. You were doing some brochures and logos and business cards, and you had really taught yourself how to do websites. So this is what you were doing in the beginning. So let's talk about, what did it look like when you first started your business? What would a day entail for you?
So because I had little ones, it was a matter of working work in between, their schedule. But business wise, it was really mostly focused on lead generation because, I had to get the business in. And so a lot of that, thanks to Kirsten, was focused on networking. And that's what really kind of kickstarted, me finding some of my best clients. And I loved it because it was once a month and it was a networking group that was all women. Well, it was all women except for a couple people, but some of the best things that came out, it helped me build my confidence, first of all, because I had to talk to people, every week, get dressed up, which was nice, and get up in front of people and tell them about me and about my business. And so it increased my confidence because the more you do that, the better you feel about it. It also helped me better articulate what I do and kind of make my description of my business a little more concise. And it helped me get to know a lot of other female entrepreneurs because you can feel a little isolated especially when you're working from home, and you're not around other friends who are entrepreneurs. You can kind of feel like you're on your own. And so that was fantastic. And to see them, in their success and their, motivation, and that was just phenomenal. And the group that I went to also had a teaching element. Every month they would have someone who would come and teach a particular topic. So it was educational as well. So there were just so many fantastic things that came out of it. It was great.
So so in this day, you would actually have to get up, your mom would come to the house, you'd have to get yourself ready and out the door by 7, you're at the meeting at 7:30 to 9, you're doing a little networking afterwards, perhaps you have a one-to-one. So tell them, what it looked like when you started to race home. What did that look like?
So before I left the meeting or during the meeting, I would always make sure that I took really good notes. I had to make sure, because once I got home, I was in a totally different mindset. I was back in family mode. So I had to make sure that if there were people I wanted to talk to or follow up with, because sometimes people would ask questions and I knew I could help them, but I didn't necessarily have the time to grab them during the meeting or after the meeting. So I would make sure that I jotted those down. Or people I wanted to just connect with and send an email to or make a phone call with. So I had to be really detailed in what I wrote. So then I try to do one-to-ones or try to schedule those while I was out so I could, use that time really wisely. And while I had them in the same, place, so it was convenient for both of us. So once I got home, my mom was busy. She had her yoga classes and her, coffees and whatnot. So she would be like, bye-bye. So,
Get your kids back.
there you go, there they go. So, and she was the only family I had here at the time. So yeah, so once I got home, it was back to kid mode. And so it would really be a matter of finding, the time during the day when they were busy or napping, or, sometimes I would exchange time with one of my neighbors who also had little ones. And so sometimes she would watch mine so I could get some work done, or I would watch hers so she could get some shopping done, or whatever she needed to do. So the other times it would be, when my husband came home from work, then he would take over and then I could get some work done, or I would work late into the night. So, it was just, you had to do what you had to do.
Right.
So it was helpful to have, I will say, when I started to work with a project management software, because then I could put together a list of all the tasks that I did for different clients. So I knew where I left off with a client, because oftentimes, you never knew when you would get to a certain point and then, you hear a loud noise in the other room and you got to run because, some things just can't wait with little ones.
Right.
So, yeah. So, and you would have to be really specific about where you left off, because you don't want to spend time when you get back to work trying to figure out where you were. So just, having good systems and processes and keeping track of where you were in a project.
Okay. And back then you were using Basecamp, is that right? And now you use Asana?
Yeah. And I loved Basecamp. It was a great software, but it had a monthly fee. And so as time went on, I found other softwares, and now we use, like you said, Asana. And Asana, you can pay for an upgraded version, but we don't need to. And it's just, it's great. And so we use the free version. And, even though we can afford to pay for a monthly fee, as a smart just business owner, there's no need to pay a monthly fee for a service that you don't need to. So those are just decisions that you should make, no matter how much money you're making,
Right. Right. So as your business grows, you get busier with client work and you're pretty much maxing out. You're doing websites, and now you're helping your clients with Facebook, setting up their Facebook pages and LinkedIn, and you're doing monthly email marketing for your clients. So you've got a lot of services going, you've got a lot of business at this point. And what did it look like then? Because you're also trying to balance, you had created some classes where you were teaching business owners how to use social media, and you would often get clients from that because they would learn all the ins and outs and they didn't want to do it on their own. But at that point, you're still networking, which you still do to this day, and you're still trying to manage all the client flow. So I know you were crazy busy. What was the first thing you decided to outsource? Because I remember that conversation with you. I know what it is, but I think they'll love to hear this. Because once you are so busy, you have so much client work and you have responsibilities as far as networking or keeping up your social platforms and doing your own marketing, you have to figure out what's going to give, right? You still have the kids, they still need you. So what did it look like when you got really busy in the middle of your business before you really started outsourcing? What was that first outsourcing thing like?
Bookkeeping. Oh, I was so happy to get rid of bookkeeping. It was something that, I was capable of doing. I can work in, QuickBooks or QuickInner. I can't even remember what I was using at the time. But, I can input all of the receipts and, calculate, run the reports and stuff, but I didn't want to. It wasn't fun for me. It wasn't my unique ability. It wasn't something that brought me joy. And so every month or every week, I'd get those receipts and they would pile up. And during the day, or at the end of the day, I'd be thinking, oh, you didn't do that today. You didn't do that today. And so it was just something that you carry with you every day and, you feel guilt about. And you beat yourself up over. And then once you give that over to someone, it's such a relief. And, as somebody who needs to be creative in my work, I'm doing branding, I'm doing writing, I need that creative headspace, by giving away something that was taking away my energy, my creative space. It was like, wow, okay, now I can create, be more creative, to feel good. So yeah, that was phenomenal. So grateful that you helped me do that.
Well, it's really funny because one of the things, I think when we talk about the day in the life of, I know for you, you normally do your client work in the morning.
Mhm.
And then, you would do your own marketing and your own bookkeeping and stuff, usually on Fridays. That was your afternoon, is what you would spend your time doing. But you usually get so busy, you do have to start to give some things up.
Mhm.
And I think that's when your business really shifts, when you start letting go of things that, you don't have to do, you can afford to pay to have it done. And it allows you, because if you don't, here's what happens. If your days are so packed full of work, and in this case, family, that your marketing stops, right? People
Mhm.
get super busy and then their marketing stops. And then all of a sudden, even though you might have a lot of monthly clients for, posting on Facebook and email marketing, a lot of your revenue still came in from websites. There's bigger projects. And if you don't market, then you stop getting that business. And so in the day, you have to have all of these things planned out for the course of the week to make sure you're doing all of those different tasks. And I know this video is the day in the life of, but hopefully what we're letting you see is that there's no typical day. I mean, even when you have a large amount of workflow and you have a lot of client work to do, you're using project software, you're outsourcing stuff, your days can still shift quite a bit from day to day as far as what you're doing. But I think it's important to realize that you can take your business wherever you want it to go when you start to outsource. And I would love to hear in the comments below, what would be the first thing you would want to outsource, or what was the first thing you outsourced? Because Jeannie and I'd love to hear about that. So let's move forward to now. So now you're 10 years into running your business, which you still have. And it's a very different day now, because let's talk about what that looks like now that you have, you have people working for you who actually do the websites when you bring in the business. You
Mhm.
have someone who does the email marketing for your clients, even though you maintain the client relationship. You
Mhm.
have people doing all the social posting for the clients. And
Mhm.
now you have the second business with me. We have six-figure business coaching. So let's talk about, what does your typical day look like? Let's talk about, tomorrow's Monday. What will that look like for you?
So I normally schedule what I'm going to do the day before or the night before, so that I get up in the morning and I do some meditation. I do spend some personal time, which is usually early. I usually get up around 5 or 5:30. It used to be even earlier when I had little ones, but 5 or 5:30 is good now. And I spend some time, meditating. Sometimes I do some reading. I will do some journaling. I love, and gets her in some really good emotional, energy provoking. It's just a great way to set yourself up for a great day. And so some mindset work first off, and then I check to see what
Team.
my team has been up to, because the end of their day is the beginning of our day.
Yeah, they're in the Philippines. So yeah. So they've
So,
already got a bunch of stuff done for Jeannie to review. And so that's kind of first on the list in the morning.
yep. So, and like I said before, the morning is good time for me. So I leave my more creative projects for the morning. So whether that's projects that Kirsten and I are working on, or if it's particular projects that I'm working on with my clients, I do that in the morning. In the morning will be, my more creative stuff. It's really nice too, because my clients know that I don't actually answer the phone. So if they want to reach me, they will email me. So, and then set up a time for me to talk to them. And that's kind of a throwback to when I had kids. I couldn't just be there and just be available whenever they needed me, because my schedule was really more tailored to when my kids were down and, quiet. So I could get on the phone with my clients. So it kind of worked out really nicely for that.
It,
So,
it's amazing, because I think a lot of business owners think, if I don't answer the phone right away, I'm going to lose this business. But I think one of the great things about doing freelance marketing and social media marketing is the fact that the client relationship is ongoing. Even if you're doing a website for them, that's a project that's usually lasting, 4 or 5 weeks. So that relationship, is longer. And as long as you tell them, hey, if you have questions, email me, and then I'll set up a time to have a phone conversation with you, or email me and give me a couple of times that could work for you, and we'll try to make it happen. So setting up yourself for success as far as when you talk on the phone and when you reply to emails really helps you control your day. And I think that makes a big impact. Now, if you're in something like real estate or something like that, where you have to answer your phone, it's a little different. But you've had clients that have been with you for almost a decade, right?
yeah.
Yeah. So they understand that if they want to reach you, you're always available to them. It's just that they can't call you right away and get a response. Do you feel like that has helped you be more productive by not answering phones all day?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it's such an interruption.
Yeah.
Plus I think it's given them a great perception of me and how I work, because, if I'm working on, let's say if I'm working on their project,
Right.
they don't want to know that somebody else calling me is going to stop me from working on their project to jump in and answer somebody else's question. The other thing that's interesting too is that when I know I'm going to talk to them, I go back and review my notes from our last conversation, because, I can't remember everything that I talked to everyone about. So
Right.
I'm much more prepared to speak to them about, what their last issues were and how we took care of those, or, what we're in the process of doing for them. So, they always feel like I'm and my team are very prepared for, whatever it is that we're going to talk about.
That's awesome. So
Yeah.
you do most of your phone calls in the afternoon and you handle most of your social media marketing and things like that. Do you jump on social media early or do you try to stay off of it?
I actually jump on social media early, but I give myself a time limit.
Okay.
Because I'm human, and we all tend to jump on Facebook and get lost in in the conversations and in the pictures. So I will
TikTok, YouTube, rabbit holes.
rabbit hole, absolutely. And like I said, I'm human. We all do it. So, but I literally will set a timer on my phone for 20 minutes or 15 minutes or 30 minutes, depending on what my goal is and how much time I have and what I intend to do. Sometimes it's because I went on there because I intend to do something, and I will, set it for 5 minutes. And if it goes off and I haven't done that, then I'll say, oh, I got on here not to, check and see what conversations were going on, or, to post things in this group, but I actually got on there for one purpose, and I got to make sure, it should have been done in that 5 minutes. So.
And that's a good point too, the alarms, because I know you have kids getting off the bus at different times, you have things going on. You also use alarms quite a bit, because I know if you're in the middle of a project, it's really easy to get lost in doing that work and then lose track of time. Mm-hmm. So that's another trick that you've always used since the kids were little, is setting timers, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I do time blocking, which we actually have another video, which we'll link to here, on time blocking, which is phenomenal, because if you've got a certain amount of time to work on your client business or work on this project, there's a good chance you're going to get it done in that amount of time, because
right.
You'll be like, right, this is the amount of time that I've allotted. I've got to get it done.
Right.
So.
And I think that's an interesting point, because time blocking does help you stay focused. And like I said earlier, no 2 days are alike. Some days you may be working on a website. Some days you're helping, with a new client, doing a strategy session with them. Another day, you're strategizing with your team for the next 6 months of social media marketing for dozens of clients. So you've got a lot going on. So the work can be different, but your days are still pretty structured. The meditation and mindset and dreamcatcher journaling in the morning, generally on and off social media pretty quickly. Then you jump right into the projects and the work that you have for creative space in the morning. I'm going really fast here. And then lunchtime, you kind of grab lunch at home, sometimes go out to lunch. But then in the afternoon, again, that's when you're talking to clients. And you also have to start assigning work to everyone at that point, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep. That's when my team get their work as well.
At the end of the day. Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah. And I love it, because I love that not too 2 days aren't the same.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you also have to leave some time in there for what Dan Sullivan would call messes. Things that you don't expect to happen but do happen. And you have to, just leave aside some time, maybe an hour a day, for, fixing that or cleaning that up, or, figuring out how you're going to solve that or what needs to be done for that.
Yes. Yeah. Blocking it, when you're blocking your time, having those little buffer periods of time, because someone will reach out and say, my hosting isn't working, or, you know, we've added a new product to our product line. Can you get this onto our website? You know, and then we start posting about it. Yeah, so there are always things that do come in, and your days aren't ever the same, but you do always have to make room for those added things that are not booked in for the day. Those fires that have to be put out. Yeah, those messes that have to be cleaned up. That's really smart.
Yeah.
So as a freelance marketer, when you started, actually you have a marketing agency now, what would be, I think at the beginning of the video, I told people that we would talk about some really profitable services.
Mm-hmm.
So I know that copywriting, which is writing sales copy, is very profitable. Mm-hmm. Websites obviously can be very profitable to do. Mm-hmm. So I think we have a link below for a resource for them. Is that correct?
Absolutely. Yep. These are the most profitable services that you can offer right now, that as a freelance business. And so it's a great list, and you should look through it, because there might be some things on there that you didn't realize were right. profitable, and they may be things that you're interested in. Right. And so you may just need to, you know, learn a little bit about them, or learn a particular software and get out there and start offering them.
Right. Because you only have so many hours in the day. So you want to make sure that the services that you are offering are profitable. And you also want to make sure that the work that you can do in as little time as possible, right? So if you're charging someone a flat fee for all of their social postings, you know, you want to get so efficient that you can do it as quickly as possible. So your hourly rate is fantastic, means your business is thriving and growing. So adding on profitable services, and sometimes eliminating things, right? Letting services go that either you don't enjoy doing, or that turned out to be too time consuming and not necessarily profitable enough.
Yeah, absolutely.
And because you want to learn how to build a successful business, please make sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified each week when we post new videos. And if you like this information, if you feel like it really helped you to know what it looks like in the day of the life of a marketer, please give us a thumbs up. And until we see you in the next video,
dream big.